welcome to a prenatal yoga class. I'm Laura. Today we will be going over having a proper seat and different ways that we can sit in order to properly align the spine, stacking, and to find our pelvic floor supporting our posture. So before we begin, there are a few options for tools that we can use to modify these seated postures in order to help us find better function in these forms. So I'm sitting on a meditation bolster. So these are of course fantastic, and they're filled with kind of like a barley husk. There's pearly inside. Some other options, a sturdy bolster, blanket. You can always use multiple blankets, roll them up, or this one, maybe we could roll it up one more time in order to give us a little cushion, or with your block. And if you have cork blocks, it will help to put a blanket over that cork block to make it more comfortable. So I will show you with the bolster first. So when we are coming into a seated posture with our prop, we want to consider how our pelvis is tilting. We do not want a rounding in the lower back and the sacrum, the tailbone. We want to avoid allowing it to tuck or curve under. So we want to have it out straight, maybe even pulling away some extra skin in order to sit on those lower hip or sits bones. And we'll try an easy cross. So crossing one leg and allowing the knee to fall open, and then crossing the other leg in front. They don't need to be intertwined, and allowing that knee to fall open as well. So this is a pretty sturdy bolster, so I'm coming forward quite a lot, and my knees are on the mat. And this allows me to really be straight in the spine, hips, shoulders, and neck. And I'll show you one more with a bolster and block. So whatever way that you are finding a nice seated posture, make sure that you can get these little tidbits. So here I covered my block with a blanket. And same thing, it's a little bit of a smaller area, but I'll cross the opposite way. Crossing one leg, allowing the knee to come forward, and then the other. Also, both knees are coming to the mat. You can see here stacking in the hips and the spine. So my pelvic floor is supporting my core. If we are tucking, then our pelvis is not in a position to support our spine. So rolling gently forward, as if you're doing a slight pelvic tilt. So once you find a comfortable seat, get grounded. Maybe you need to find a little bit of movement or move some extra skin around, or maybe try a cross of the opposite direction for the legs. And breathing nice and deep. Perhaps you wish to relax your eyes or have a soft gaze forward. Inhaling and exhaling. Again, inhaling and exhaling. Let's try a few times with the arms. Inhaling as the arms come up. Filling up the breath when your arms reach the top. And exhale, let's flip the hands and push down. Great, twice more like this. Inhale, arms up, matching the breath. And exhale down. Last one, at your own pace. Exhale. And relax the arms down. Great. So now let's have our hands on our legs or close to our knees and rolling the shoulders up and relaxing them back and down, tightening the core. On our exhale, inhale, expansion, and exhale, back down. And one more inhale. Exhale, shoulders backing down. Finding support through the spine and the hips. So let's focus on our breathing so we can start to feel our pelvic floor in relation to our diaphragm, lungs, abdomen, and then ultimately our pelvis and our spine. So when we inhale, lungs are expanding and the diaphragm is moving down. So let's focus on that for 2 or 3 breaths. Inhaling, lungs expanding, ribs are widening, but not forcefully. And then exhaling, diaphragm rises and the lungs are getting smaller. One more breath like this. Focusing on the diaphragm and the lungs. And exhale, diaphragm rises, lungs compress. Nice. Okay, now let's bring the awareness down to our pelvic floor. So our pelvic floor and our diaphragm move parallel. They move together. So when we inhale, the diaphragm and the pelvic floor both release down. And then on an exhale, they slightly come up and pelvic floor is a little bit tightening. It's not forceful. So let's focus for 3 breaths like this. So bringing awareness, if it helps you to think of the diaphragm first and then your pelvic floor, whatever works for you, or if you're ready to bring your awareness all into your pelvic floor and your hips, this is a great posture to be able to feel and have support to bring awareness to the pelvic floor. So inhaling, drops and relaxes. Exhaling, compressing and rising. Inhaling, relaxation. Exhaling, rising, and the area between the orifices is slightly rising up. And one more breath like this. And exhale, comes up. Great. Okay, and I'll come to face. Let's try switching the direction of the leg. So whichever cross you had, we'll cross the opposite direction. And finding a nice and tall posture. So maybe slightly rolling forward. Let's do a little bit of hip movements to notice where our sits bones are. So the bottom points of our hips, the pelvis. So rolling slightly forward, slightly back. So almost a tuck of the tailbone. So tailbone going out like a cow, and then cat going back. 2 more times. Inhaling. And then exhaling, rounding the back. 1 more time. And then exhaling. And we'll come to neutral. Nice, so finding the nice stack. And then we'll do some breath where we focus on our ribs and our belly. So breathing and then bring awareness again to the diaphragm and the pelvis, the pelvic floor. So inhaling, expanding the ribs, filling the belly, pelvic floor is dropping. And then exhaling, pelvic floor rising, belly compressing, and lungs falling in. Again. Widening front, back sides of the ribs and the belly. Just an easy blowing up and then exhaling and kind of bringing it all to center. Again. Expanding and exhaling, bringing towards center in your core. Nice, shake it out. Let's do a little bit of wrist exercises since we're here anyway. Rolling the wrists, and then clasping the hands, and then making an infinity symbol, one direction, and the opposite direction. Still supporting our spine and our core. And then a little bit of fingers down. And palms toward us, fingers down. And then palms away, fingers up. And maybe a nice little shake. And then we'll end this practice again by raising our arms. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, flip the hands, push the hands down. 2 more breaths like this. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. And last breath like this. Inhale, arms up. Perhaps a slight gaze up. Tall, long spine, and last exhale. You can bring your hands to your knees or hands to heart center. And finding your normal breath. Thank you for practicing. Please carry on this nice posture awareness into your everyday life. Thank you. Enjoy.